Hello and welcome to the CatanFusion channel. I'm your host, who is most certainly not Kent Slocum, and I'm going to talk about something that is most certainly not affiliated with the official Catan brand. Now, we had some troubles with our last host, so I'm going to really briefly talk about the why of placing hexes on the Catan board. Let's get started first with talking about the official Catan instructions. Usually, Catan gives you a handy little diagram in the back of the instruction manuals that tell you what you need to do in order to construct the board and where to place the hexes. The only problem with that is, if you need to make a bigger version of the game, you don't know what to do. Now, there's a very handy resource on our website at www.CatanFusion.com that will help you know how to build your board so that you can maximize the surface area or incorporate different scenarios and expansions. We've already talked about building the frame, but in this video we're going to talk about putting the hexes in the frame. But I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple of excellent examples of board setups. Here's a setup using just the 5 basic resource hexes and the desert. Just so you know, lumber is the most sought after resource, followed by stone and brick. That means that you need to watch out for powerful combinations like forest and hill or forest and mountain. The desert is usually placed near the center of the board because it often harbors the game's villains. If, however, you're playing with the oil springs expansion, which adds oil wells to the desert hexes, then suddenly the desert becomes a very valuable place, and it is important to keep it in the middle of the board so that everybody has an equal chance to take advantage of it. Now, here's a slightly larger setup featuring the sea and gold spring hexes from the Seafarers expansion. Since the sea hexes are essentially worthless, they serve as a good buffer between the powerful gold spring hexes and the main island. It's generally okay to pair a gold spring hex with a weaker resource hex, like pasture or field, but if you're using mystery hexes from the Explorers and Pirates expansion, you'd have no way of separating those because you don't actually know what's on the other side of the hexes. The CatanFusion system recommends that those mystery hexes from the Pirates and Explorers expansion simply get shuffled and placed upside down next to the board so that as you discover hexes you can simply place them in the frame instead of having to flip them over, which is a little bit awkward when the frame is pretty tight. Now, in this setup, we've added 4 river hexes and an oasis hex. The oasis is essentially a desert, but it's still a good idea to keep it centered because caravans will extend out from the oasis later in the game. The river hexes function just like their non-river counterparts, except that they require a special bridge in order to cross. They provide a bonus to players who build next to them, which also makes them pretty valuable. Since river hexes divide the board up a bit, it's wise to place the longest river in the center of the board in order to split Catan evenly into 2 halves. And here's our final example, incorporating spice hexes and trade hexes. Your playing pieces will do a lot of traveling between the trade hexes during the game, so it's best to spread them out about equidistant from the center. These spice hexes are also very valuable, so it's best to place them further away, separated by the sea. Well, that completes this episode of CatanFusion. In this video, we learned that you can be creative and build the Catan game board any way you want. However, you must be careful because where you place the hexes affects the fairness of the game. Keep these basic guidelines in mind and you'll be just fine. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to like it below, share it with your friends, and visit our website to find out more at www.CatanFusion.com. I've been your host, who is most certainly not Kent Slocum, and I look forward to seeing you on our next video.